All right, guys. I'm here with THFE Productions. We'll just call him Julian here
Yep.
because that's what he likes.
What's up, guys?
How's it go? How's it going? So we recently hung out in San Francisco, getting to try out Total War Warhammer, and yeah, Julian, I got to meet you again.
Yeah, it's starting to become a recurring effect. Air of Carthage was there. We had some people from, I think the press was there before us, so we didn't get to interact with those guys. But then there was also Angry Joe plus other Joe who were there. That was cool to see them in real life and interact with them. So a whole bunch of different people were there. Some developers were there. I think it was Scott and Rich were the two developers, and then Joey was also there as well, kind of just hosting the event.
Yeah, Joey was awesome. That was my first time getting to meet her in person. Like I've seen her on streams.
Yeah.
Um, she was really cool.
Yeah, overall, it was a
But
totally sick experience. So I showed up not as late as I did last time, if you recall. Last time I showed up in the last hour. Here I showed up, what, like 5, 10 minutes late, and I walk in the room and they're already there on their computers getting started. So yeah, they just had us playable demo, I think, for the ambush at the Thundering Falls type gameplay. So they just sat us down, gave us a brief presentation, like here's what you're gonna see, here are the main things to look out for, and then go at it. And they let us try it out. They're
mhm.
like, there's easy and then there's hard. And then they kind of judged us quietly as we tried to choose, what we were going to do. So I think you went and you did a hard mode, right? First thing?
Yeah, I went with a very hard mode, but that's just who I am. Apparently they add like an extra giant to that level, apparently, or
Oh, did
something. I
they?
was reading. Yeah, so I tried it twice and I failed both times. First time I tried just walking towards them. I think you watched the first time I tried
Yep.
it, and I effed that up hardcore. Yeah, second time I was a bit more successful. I killed a lot more of them, but in the end I ultimately failed in the second battle. But I did a lot better by defending my position
Yep.
against the ambush. And then you tried it a few times.
Yeah, well, they just let us try it over and over and over again until we were sick
Hmm.
of it, which took a while. We did it many iterations. But yeah, so I tried it after Prince or after Alex, so I got to learn from his mistakes. And basically, what you have in front of you is it's underground ambush battle. It's also scenario, so I'm not quite sure if this is the same as how typical ambushes will work out. We'll have to wait and see. But you're in a cave, nice big sprawling cave. It's actually relatively flat, high, sort of archways and stalactite ridden ceiling above you with good visibility, good lighting, all that stuff. So that was cool. It's like an actual playable underground, but it still feels like it's underground. So you have your deployment zone, then the enemy is deployed opposite you, but then they also have two flanking positions, right and left, and then also behind you as part of the ambush. So at first you don't actually know that they're going to be coming behind you. I think I totally missed that when I first tried it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to aim all my guns forward. You're given like what cannons, organ guns, flame cannon, then you're given like the Iron Drake. Then you have your heroes. You have your Dwarf Warriors. You have Thunderers. You have Corlers. Everything is just boom. It's like World War One, and you're just waiting for the enemy to rush your lines, and then you unleash on them. It was like the most satisfying thing ever. It was really cool. They just swarm at you from everywhere. But like I said, my first try, I didn't get the guys behind you, and all of a sudden I like start hearing dwarfs grunting. I'm like, what the hell is that? And there's like these giants like swatting at me, and yeah, they unleashed hordes behind you too, which was pretty cool.
That was epic, and they also let us use a new unit that was new to Total War. That was the flying unit. Uh, the what do they call the gyrocopters or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're actually kind of hard to use, but and then when you did get them to work, it was pretty epic. But it added a new dimension to Total War,
Yeah, that
which
was pretty
was
cool. They
was.
came in later in the battlefield. It was like a late type of thing. Like, okay, you survived this long. Here's some reinforcements, and some gyrocopters show up on the field, and they're pretty cool. I think they just like hover on like the flying plane up here at a certain level, and there was like it was pretty seamless. Like it seemed Total War. It seemed like a Total War unit. Like I was wondering how aerial combat's going to work. What the height is? Is it variable? Are they going to be like constantly moving around? The helicopter was there, stationary. It was like, oh, this is pretty normal. I'm already used to it. Like you pick it up super quick, and then you just
Mhm.
send it on like bombing runs, and it runs around super quick. It shoots with its like not a machine gun, but a little cannon. You can shoot at people, and then you have it's straight out of like something like Indiana Jones, where you have the goblins were shooting like arrows up at the
Oh yeah,
helicopter.
that was awesome. Badoo,
Yeah,
badoo.
so you could press insert on the unit, and you're like in close to the cockpit, and you could look down, and all these arrows were like whizzing past you. It was really sweet
I
to
actually
see
liked
that.
that part.
Yeah,
I
I
should have tried
tried
it
out
harder. I
the
missed that.
insert stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
when they first came in, I was like dun da 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 dun dun da da da. It was like a Flight of the Valkyries assault.
Oh yeah, for Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, because
Pretty epic.
you could drop bomb with the gyrocopters. Actually, it's like one of their active abilities that you could do. So you fly them over, you click the drop bomb ability, and then each of them drops, opens the bomb bay doors, and they drop these little bombs on you from below. So all the units were super cool. I really liked it. First impressions, it was pretty awesome.
It was freaking epic. What was your favorite unit that you got to use in the battle?
Oh, that's a tough one. There's a lot of good ones, and that's pretty. It was hard to choose. I like Thorgrim Grudgebear just because he was so ridiculous. Like you remember him, the guy sitting up on his chair, carried by other dwarves, and they're like walking into combat. They're like, "Whoa, not too close, not too," and then
He had like
meanwhile he's
one
just up
dwarf
top,
per
whack,
leg.
whack, whack, and the guys on the bottom are just like, "Oh God."
Oh gosh, I have to agree with you. I think yeah, Thorgrim, the High King, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely my favorite.
Oh
Like
yeah,
just
you send him to attack, and there's a giant chair moving around the battlefield. It's so ridiculous.
yeah, you got one little dwarf holding each little end up, and
Yeah,
you just see him like rolling around. It's pretty over the top and ridiculous, and I loved it.
yeah,
Um,
and that was definitely something that stuck out in the video. Just everything is kind of over the top. The charge mechanics, you have guys like jumping and like swatting at each other, and like the orcs kind of like run like gorillas type of stuff. It was sweet. The spider when that son of a bitch came in, it was so powerful, and it was just
all
they would just like eat up some dwarves and stuff.
freaking giant spider. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't bring that thing down. I sent everything I had at it, and I was just killing everybody. Um, the giant trolls were pretty epic too. It's like
Yeah.
slashing. Like it was one thing to read about and see screenshots, but to see it in action and zoom in, it was beautiful. It was like watching a movie.
Yeah, we would spend, like I said, we were given access to this scenario battle, and we could play it over and over again. And okay, we played it once, trying it, we failed. We played a second time, we won. And then after that, like I would dedicate a whole playthrough of just watching the giant. Okay, the next playthrough, we're just gonna watch the spider. I was like,
It was freaking gorgeous.
yeah,
I want to make a comment on the battlefield. Like it looks like that scene in Lord of the Rings, the Mines of Moria, where they're
yeah, yeah.
underground, and it looked like a matte painting. It was so beautiful. Like it really looked like it was ripped out of like Lord of the Rings, and
Hmm.
like it just appealed to my fantasy nerd side. I'm not sure what do you think of the artwork?
Yeah, I thought that was really well done. They had showed us all these previews of the dwarf models before with like high rendering, super glossy, high details. Like, oh wow, that's total like bullshit. Like, there's no way.
Oh yeah,
And then you get to the battlefield, and I zoomed in. I was like, oh, these guys actually look really, really good. Maybe not
yeah.
the same quality, but it was like you could tell it was like pretty much very similar. So
It looked yeah.
that was cool to see.
It's definitely spot on, and just to see it animate and animated really smoothly. I'm not sure what kind of computers they were using, but it was pretty damn smooth, and it looked just like almost just
Yeah.
like the screenshots. Um, so like any more impressions on the action?
Oh,
Like,
there's so much to talk about.
hmm,
So that's just the initial impressions where you're wowed away. Like I said, then we did multiple games where we started testing the mechanics. So there's a bunch of new mechanics that I think people will love. The first one that's pretty noticeable is there's no more match combat animations. So what that means is, oh, you don't have guys who charge into combat and they stop and then they shuffle and then they're like do their moves and then they shuffle
I
to the
noticed
next guy.
that.
That's gone. That's gone. They got or it's mostly gone. Now it's more like Medieval 2 where you slash towards your opponent. There's no shuffling. That fixes a lot of issues with the game. So I thought that was awesome. But there's still the chance for some match combat animations, but it's much less frequent. It's kind of like a hybrid system of the two.
Mhm.
And that was I think people are going to be really happy about that. It still looks super cinematic and super chaotic because now you don't have people shuffling around 1v1ing, oh, I challenge you to a duel. It's just like, everyone's
Yeah,
smashing each other. Like, it's very fitting for the setting, I thought.
yeah, I think so too. I think that it made the combat more streamlined, and
Hmm.
definitely it was definitely easier to control your units. I think. Um, what else? I was hoping I could have used the greenskins, in the battle.
Oh, man, I was hoping there's going to be an option to switch sides. They look so cool.
Yeah, they looked really awesome. Like I was really digging the spider cavalry, and
Yeah.
they dart like right in there like super duper fast, whereas the dwarves are like super duper slow. they got their range units, but they're so freaking slow.
Yeah, I got
Uh,
used to the dwarfs. I'd like send a movement command, and everyone's like, and then I look at the spider. Oh, that spider! What is that? Is that a spider? And it's like, and it gets
yeah,
like right up in your face in a
like
couple
poof,
seconds.
poof.
Yeah,
It was pretty awesome. Um,
yeah.
I was definitely very pleased with this hands-on demo of the game. It like I wasn't expecting it to be that good. It was pretty damn good in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of previous Total Wars, we've seen them do these demos where it's very controlled, and you're like, is this actually what the game is going to be like? And that could be the case in this game, but like so much of it was good. Like I don't see
Oh yeah.
how you could, for example, the artwork. I don't know how you could take away the artwork and say, haha, we made this really cool looking unit, but now we're going to remove those textures.
Suckers.
They did that with a little bit of Battle of Carthage, but it's in the game. They have time to develop it. So that's one thing. The battle mechanics look great. I don't see them going back on battle mechanics. Like I said, the match combat is gone. They have the new unit health system. They have special UI stuff that you can do. I don't see them backing away from that, and I don't know why you would build these cool features and then not implement them into the game. So that was kind of my impression. Like it all looks good, and I don't see how it could like be a facade as much as previous games have been, where you're cornered in a little part of the game and you can't, it looks nice, but behind the veneer of whatever you're looking at is pretty shitty. It could still be the case, but from what I saw, I think it looked like it was on the right track. Is probably the best we can say now.
I agree. It looked like a very legit version of what we're going to play eventually. It's still far from being completed though, but yeah, I don't see them, backtracking on what they showed us.
Yeah, and the developers were cool. They seemed pretty genuine in terms of they like we were playing and we were like, "Oh, this is awesome," and they were like taking their notes and like, "Oh, what do you
Oh
think
yeah.
about that? Did you notice this?" And we're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and they're like, "What do you think about it?" So they definitely were like trotting out their little prize, and I think it was cool. We got to like give some feedback on what we thought. Like I think it was Aaron and I talked to them and we're like, "Oh, we really love that you got rid of match combat animations. It will really help in multiplayer." And then we also said, "Hey, could you please bring back free for all?" And they're like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Maybe."
I was like, please bring it back. I mentioned it to him. He
Yeah,
was like, what would you like to see? I'm like, my focus will be on multiplayer. So is yours.
yeah,
And I'd love to see Return of Free for All, but it would totally be a good match for this setting.
right.
Just have that chaos of the setting, you know.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Uh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, it was they were there to get our feedback, is what it seemed like, and they're listening, and then we got to hang out with them later. So I hope that free for all point sticks with them, because so far they have a good product, and I think if they start implementing more things to multiplayer, oh man, this game is going to be amazing.
Oh heck yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was cool. Seeing Julian in person. He showed me his toys. I did put that video clip segment in this video.
Oh, yeah, I got a couple, and then
Oh,
show 'em yours, show 'em yours.
well, it's not as epic as his.
Well,
I guess.
well, see, here's the thing. I didn't paint this one, whereas you painted that one.
No, dude. I totally bought this. I can't paint crap, man. The guy was like,
Nice,
"Hey, you want some
nice.
street credit, right? Yeah, yeah. You just buy some of mine."
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's right, man. Street cred."
So let's see.
Well, and yeah, like yeah. What were you saying? Like closing thoughts or
Oh, no, I mean more
I'm
stuff
sorry.
from the battle. There was all kinds of crap. Like I said, the match combat animations are gone. The unit health system that they brought in that's new, where you have actual HP points as opposed to how many men are alive in your unit, was pretty cool. You have a magic potion to heal yourself. There's all these cool things. The UI looks super nice. No tactical map just yet. They said they're going to implement it. I hope they change it up because right now it's not super useful. Like when you move a unit and you stretch it out, all of a sudden the little banner becomes like super large and you can't. It's
Oh
unmanageable
yeah.
on the tactical map. So I hope they improve that. But there's also, if you hold down spacebar, you can customize. There's like a list that comes up on the right side, and you can check certain boxes on the fly to say, hey, I want unit banners on. I want the unit names on and crap like that. You can customize stuff on the fly. So they seem to be going in the right direction with a bunch of these little upgrades here and there. And I think it just has to do with the fact that they're doing fantasy, and as opposed to, okay, here's the next historical title. Now we got to pay attention to all the historical details. Blah 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 blah. they're like, oh shit, it's fantasy, we've never done this, let's try a bunch of new stuff. And it seems like a
Oh
bunch
yeah.
of the new stuff is like it's become contagious, and they've been trying that out on a bunch of different things, which I think was awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this new setting, this fantasy setting, it's encouraging them to try new things
Yeah.
and to see what they can get away with and maybe implement in future Total War games,
Hmm.
which I would love to see. What else? Um, yeah, there's definitely a lot of new things. Like, was there anything that you didn't like
Oh,
that can't that you don't see being fixed or?
Um, I mean, I was a little annoyed that they weren't talking about the campaign or addressing multiplayer. I know they have probably the hype train is on like a certain schedule, and it is now at the dwarf stop. Please get off at the dwarf stop. The campaign stop will be next. So they were very adamant about not answering questions about that stuff. Um,
Oh, I
so
didn't even catch that part.
as much as this had like polish, there's a whole bunch of other parts to this game that they could easily, mess up. So I'm looking forward to seeing more about that. The battle itself, I didn't actually have anything really to complain about. I couldn't judge how the AI was doing, mostly because it just rushed you from all the sides. There was no finesse to it, partly because it's an ambush, and so they just attack you from every side. And it's the greenskins. I mean, what else are they gonna do but charge?
Yeah.
My fear is everyone is going to do that. Like even if the enemy force is the dwarves, I'm guessing the dwarves are just going to charge straight at you. So I'm hoping they have the AI behave differently and appropriately to the faction that they're controlling, as opposed to have the same AI behavior for everyone.
Oh, I see. Like a different personality trait.
Yeah, I thought that
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
that'd definitely be pretty cool. Um, yeah, that. I mean, did was it everything that you hoped for? Like when you came to the event, it's like were you expecting anything, and
Oh,
did you get
I
everything you
was
wanted?
hoping to play as the greenskins. I didn't just
Oh,
want to play as the dwarves. It wasn't enough. It was a huge tease.
yeah, that is one thing. Yeah, I noticed like in some like some Total War games, you can play both sides of a historical battle,
Yeah.
and there's some where you can only choose one side. I hope they go back to letting us be both sides in a historical scenario,
Uh-huh.
or
Yeah.
that definitely be good. Mm. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to like multiplayer battles.
Oh man, yeah, we got to talk a little bit about that. One of the developers there was the guy who was one of the main players behind the Avatar system for Shogun 2. He helped make the
Uh-huh.
maps for Shogun 2. He made the maps for Rome 2 and stuff like that. And we're like, oh, you're that guy. He's like, yep.
That
He's like,
guy.
he even recognized that the Shogun 2 Avatar system was played a lot at the office over at CA. And he said, yeah, that was awesome. That's one of the few Total War games that we recurringly kept playing. And there was something magical about it. So we told him, hey, you should capitalize on that because we love that stuff too. You should bring it back to Warhammer. It seems like the official statement out of CA is you're going to have the same multiplayer as Attila, which is to say bare bones. But I hope our conversation with them and moving forward, they realize that they need to do something to multiplayer, free for all stuff like that, and hopefully
Yeah, definitely free for
some
all.
custom maps and maybe I doubt they're going to do an avatar system in this iteration, but it is a trilogy, so they could feasibly implement it in the next one.
Oh, that'd definitely be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping in the next big reveal they'll show more like campaign stuff, like
Mm.
and controlling the other factions too.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what my hope is. But anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it for the most part. I think this video was mostly just tailored to talking about our general impressions and walking through what happened in the battle. I know you'll
Hmm.
probably have more video analysis later. I'll have some on my own side. So yeah, and I'm sure CA will have a bunch of follow-up stuff coming up soon, so we'll have to stay tuned for that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, my friend.
Yeah, of course,
Uh,
anytime.
anytime.
All right,
All right,
guys.
well,
We'll see you later.
peace
Peace
out.
out.